Hey, what's with that attitude? It's Christmas. Work with me here.
My husband kept saying that, but I was so overwhelmed by pain that I couldn't even think straight. Hold on, my stomach hurts really bad right now. I tried to explain, but he wouldn't listen.
Seriously? You're probably faking it. You're so cowardly.
Please, it really hurts. If I end up in the hospital, I won't be able to take care of our daughter. Come home now.
You need to stop this. I told you not to embarrass me in front of the relatives. Don't tarnish my reputation. Just bear with the stomach pain.
He shouted. Then he hung up the phone. Exhausted from the conversation, I sat down, feeling a wet sensation below. Oh, no, my water broke. I tried to move quickly, but the pain intensified, and I couldn't move. I needed to clean up. But first, what about our daughter? As I tried to bear the pain, my daughter, concerned, entered the room. Mom, what happened? My name is Emily, a 35-year-old office worker. I live with my husband Henry, also an office worker, and our daughter Lily, who's in the 3rd grade. I had Lily when I was 24 and hadn't been pregnant for a while, so I thought I wouldn't have another child. But to my surprise, I'm pregnant again after 9 years and due next January. It's unexpected, but my heart swells with joy. Lily is over the moon about getting a sibling. I'll help take care of the baby. However, there's one person who isn't thrilled about the pregnancy. My husband, Henry. I'm currently on maternity leave, and he keeps complaining, saying things like, I am just eating for free. I mean, whose child does he think this is? It's ours. Plus, I'm still getting paid during my leave. I avoid confronting him because it seems to hurt his pride. But lately, Lily has been standing up for me. She's a great communicator, and she often leaves Henry speechless. Mom's taking a break because she's having a baby. Giving birth is tough, and you wouldn't understand, Dad. She's been doing housework even while pregnant. Why are you being so mean to her? Henry, flustered and embarrassed, often retreats to his room with a red face. Thanks to Lily, I've been spared from Henry's snide remarks. She's been reading books about pregnancy and childbirth with me, and I'm proud of how smart she's become. Still, I feel guilty for letting her witness our arguments. She would prefer if we got along after all. I have been diligent with housework, partly out of guilt towards Henry, who's always working, but then something happened. Henry loves his childhood home and often goes back for holidays and other occasions. If he went alone, I wouldn't mind, but he always insists I come with him, saying,
It's a wife's duty. Don't embarrass me in front of the relatives.
Saying things like that ignores my feeling and takes me away. It's a 6-hour drive to his parents' house, so we always stay overnight. My in-laws were considerate, suggesting, it must be hard to come every time. Let's just gather for Christmas. However, Henry would insist.
Don't you care about the home I grew up in?
Just because we value your parents' home doesn't mean we have to go back every time. It might be a bit much to visit so often, don't you think? I tried reasoning, but he would argue,
It's the home I grew up in. Showing up with my wife and kids is a way to honor my parents. Are you trying to prevent me from doing that?
There were many times we wouldn't agree. In fact, when our daughter was born, I had high blood pressure from the pregnancy. I collapsed at my in-laws and ended up in the hospital. Yet Henry was adamant about going back the next Christmas. I just want to stay home this time. We don't know what might happen, I pleaded.
Pregnancy isn't an illness. There's no need to worry so much.
He would retort, It's not about liking or disliking your family's home. I'm genuinely concerned. I can't believe he expects me to sit in the car for 6 hours with this huge belly. Though I didn't need to be hospitalized this time, I want to rest at home, especially after what happened last time. Please, just listen to me. If something happens, you're the only one I can rely on. Can't you just stay home this Christmas? Even after I pleaded, Henry didn't budge. Instead, he got angrier, his face turning red.
You just don't want to go back to my family's home, do you? I have been regularly seeing the doctor and they say everything's fine.
I never said I didn't want to go. I'm just genuinely worried.
Oh, really? Then you talk to my family about it.
With that, Henry started dialing his parents' house. He handed me the phone. Reluctantly, I took it and Ethan answered. Ethan and his wife live with Henry's parents. Since Ethan and his wife are already there, I don't see why we need to visit so often.
Hello, Henry.
Oh, Ethan, sorry, it's Emily.
Oh, Emily, what's up?
Ethan, I'm sorry, but with the baby due around Christmas, I was hoping to stay home. Hearing this, Ethan responded,
Of course, that's understandable. This is a challenging time for you and you shouldn't have to stress about family obligations.
His words, "Take care of yourself," brought tears to my eyes. Ethan continued with comforting words.
We should have been more considerate last time. We should have stopped you from coming.
No, it was my fault.
Don't say that. You're the one going through the most. It's only natural for us to be considerate. Let us know if there is any way we can help. We're excited about the new addition to the family.
What a kind person. I couldn't help but vent about Henry. He's insisting we go to his parents' house next Christmas too. Even when I express my concerns about the baby possibly arriving soon, he brushes them off. He even accused me of not wanting to repay his parents' kindness. As I explained, my voice quivered. Ethan asked,
Can you put it on speaker and call Henry? What is it, Ethan? Henry, are you seriously trying to bring Emily home for Christmas? Yeah, but she's being stubborn and doesn't want to. Do you even understand why she's hesitant? What? She probably just doesn't want to be around my family. She's being selfish.
Ethan's anger was palpable.
Have you forgotten what happened last time? What if it happens again? We were genuinely worried when Emily was hospitalized. And now you're just brushing it off? Are you a doctor? The condition she was diagnosed with last time could have been life-threatening for her and the baby. How would you take responsibility if something happened? And making her travel for 6 hours? What if she faints on the highway? How long would it take for an ambulance to arrive? Have you even considered the safety of Emily and the baby? Prioritizing Christmas at our place over the birth of your child is something even a child would understand.
It took Ethan's stern words for Henry to finally calm down. Looking at Henry, his face had gone pale. It's unbelievable that he needed such a strong wake-up call. Then Ethan said to me,
I am truly sorry for the trouble Henry has caused you. Please accept my apologies on his behalf. Spend Christmas at home and relax. I'll let Mom and the relatives know.
After the call, Henry, looking embarrassed, muttered,
Ethan worries too much.
From now on, I'll consult Ethan whenever Henry gives me trouble. Despite the earlier drama, thanks to Ethan's intervention, I spent the early days of December in peace. But as Christmas approached, Henry began grumbling about not going to his parents' house. Then came Christmas Eve. After finishing the cleaning and Christmas preparations, my daughter and I were relaxing. Suddenly, Henry said,
I need to buy something.
And left in the car in the afternoon. Night came and he still hadn't returned. He didn't answer my calls. So my daughter and I had our Christmas dinner, sang some carols, and tried to enjoy the evening. Where could Henry be? With that thought in the back of my mind, we had our Christmas cake and spent a peaceful Christmas Eve. The next morning, Christmas Day, Henry still hadn't returned. I wished he would at least contact me. His prolonged absence was concerning. Though we don't live in a heavy snowfall area, accidents can happen. Feeling a mix of irritation and worry, my daughter and I began our meal. Then I received a call from Henry. There was a lot of noise in the background.
Hey, you should come over too.
Come where?
To my childhood home, of course.
What?
All the relatives are here having a drink. Hurry up.
Turns out, Henry had gone to his parents' house on Christmas Eve. You said you were going shopping. Was that a lie?
I don't know, but I might eat your portion too.
Henry was clearly drunk. After all my pleas, he hadn't understood at all. My daughter looked worried. To avoid a fight, I continued the call in another room. Just ask Ethan or a relative to drive you home. As I said this, a sudden pain hit me. But even in this situation, Henry's tone became more irritated.
Hey, what's with that attitude? I've been putting up with your whims. Cooperate for once. It's Christmas.
I have only asked him to be patient for Christmas, and he hasn't been cooperative at all.
It's embarrassing if everyone's there and we are the only ones missing.
Henry kept going on, but I was distracted by the increasing pain. Oh, wait, I'm in a lot of pain right now. It's getting worse. I tried to convey my situation, but Henry wouldn't listen.
Really? You're probably faking it. You're so deceitful.
It really hurts. If I get hospitalized, who will take care of our daughter? Come home now.
You stop it. I told you not to embarrass me in front of the relatives. Don't tarnish my reputation. Just bear with the pain.
Henry shouted. The call abruptly ended. Exhausted from the exchange with Henry, I slumped down, only to feel a wet sensation below. Oh no! My water broke! I tried to move, but the pain was intensifying. I needed to clean up. But more importantly, what about my daughter? As I tried to bear the pain, my daughter, looking worried, entered the room. Mom, where's Dad? Sorry, Lily, can you come here for a moment? What's wrong, Mom? Lily, can you call an ambulance with this phone? Paralyzed by pain, all I could do was ask. Lily, seeing my state, was clearly shaken and unsure. I realized I hadn't taught her how to call for help. Before I could explain, she exclaimed, "I'll get the neighbor!" and dashed out. In a moment, our neighbor arrived. Lily, realizing she couldn't handle the situation, had wisely sought an adult's help. "Emily, are you okay? I'll call an ambulance right away." My neighbor said so and called an ambulance. I had never been more grateful for a good relationship with our neighbors. Lily held my hand and comforted me. While waiting for the ambulance, the neighbor contacted my parents. Finally, the ambulance arrived, and I gave birth later that day. The next day, my parents arrived at the hospital. Though a bit premature, it was a healthy baby boy. I tried contacting Henry, but he was unreachable and nowhere to be seen. He only showed up after the new year, brought by Ethan. Ethan came in with Henry. Ethan, though not involved, apologized to me.
I'm sorry for bringing Henry late. He turned off his phone since Christmas. I didn't realize what had happened to you.
While Ethan apologized, the one who should have been sorry, Henry, just sulked. Apparently, my father had been trying to reach Henry's phone, but ended up calling our home phone. "Ethan, I appreciate you coming, but I can't stand to see Henry right now. I'm even considering divorce." Upon hearing this, Henry, who had been sulking, looked up in shock.
What? You're so audacious. Who are you to talk about divorce?
Ethan was taken aback.
Hey, Henry, what are you saying? Emily is just exaggerating. She just wants attention.
Just then, the door opened.
What did you just say?
It was my father.
Oh, father-in-law.
Henry was visibly shaken. My father had just returned from lunch with my daughter.
Henry, do you always talk to my daughter like that? No, I mean, answer me.
Henry cringes at Dad's angry voice.
My daughter was in so much pain and you accuse her of faking it? After seeing her now, can you still say that? Enough. She will recover at my house for a while, and you won't see her or the baby. Got it? But...
Henry seemed to finally grasp the gravity of his actions.
Who will take care of me when I'm at work?
I take back my earlier thought. He is irredeemable.
Do it yourself. Emily worked and took care of the house even before her maternity leave, right? If you're an adult, you can manage.
Even as my father scolded him, Henry tried to argue, but Ethan stopped him.
I am truly sorry for Henry's behavior. Congratulations on the baby. Though it's late, please accept this gift.
Ethan handed over a gift and left with Henry. Dad, I'm sorry for the trouble.
When he came to ask for your hand, I thought he was a trustworthy man.
After that, I took some time to recover at my parents' house. Thankfully, my daughter was on winter break. After about 2 weeks, I went back to the house where Henry was, accompanied by my father. I left our baby boy and daughter in the care of my mother. Upon arriving home, I was met with the sight of Henry and a messy house littered with trash. It was clear he hadn't cooked. There were piles of fast food and delivery boxes. We sat in the living room, my father joining us, and I began the conversation with Henry. To be frank, I want a divorce, I said, handing Henry the divorce papers.
You're serious about the divorce?
Henry, can't you even thank or acknowledge me for giving birth?
For what? It's natural for a mom to give birth. It's not like you're working.
Henry's attitude from the get-go was appalling. My father's expression grew stern. Henry continued with his nonsensical remarks.
So, the baby's a boy. Then I don't want a divorce. I've always wanted a son. I'll raise him to be a baseball player. Didn't Ichiro become a star because he practiced with his dad? I want to do that.
I was speechless. What did he think of his own child? I don't think Ichiro's dad thought of his son as a tool like you did. Before I could respond, the living room door burst open. I tried to wait patiently, but I can't stand listening to this nonsense anymore. It was my mother-in-law. Henry was taken aback by her sudden appearance. Henry, get a grip. Who do you think allows you to work stress-free? Who takes care of the kids in your absence? Who cooks every meal? Who keeps this house running? It's all thanks to Emily. Look at the state of this house after just 2 weeks without her. You are so ungrateful. Divorce is the only option. Don't trouble Emily anymore. Mother-in-law's outburst left Henry speechless. He signed the divorce papers without further protest. With that, our divorce was finalized. Through a lawyer, I ensured Henry would pay child support for both our daughter and son. As for Henry's current situation, he has been forcibly taken back to his parents' house. There, he's being trained by his mother and Ethan, doing daily chores and cooking. He seems to be struggling with the housework, often complaining about wanting to escape the house. It's ironic how the man who once loved being at his parents' house now despises it. On the other hand, I successfully completed my maternity leave and parental leave and returned to work. Thanks to the generosity of my in-laws, I was given the house Henry and I lived in as part of the property division. I'm truly grateful for their kindness as they didn't want my daughter to transfer schools and feel lonely. My daughter seems to be disappointed in Henry because of what happened. She's refusing to see him even though we have just divorced. I don't intend to let my son see him either. I think I'll let Henry's parents set him straight. Maybe one day if he changes his ways and the kids want to see him, I might allow it. But that day might never come. Regardless, I'm determined to raise our children right. I'll work hard today and every day for the sake of my precious children.